hasn't really been an inspired fielding effort by Bangladesh, despite the fact they've had a fairly vocal crowd to back them.
Yeah, I think they've just probably got 15, 20 runs, not enough in their innings with the bat. This one is just knocked around to backwards square. Argennair wants a second, and he's going to come back for it. The throw gets there on the bounce. They take the bails off, but the umpire says not out, safely in his ground. Very good running by Argennair. He ran that first run really hard and then ends up getting home quite comfortably for the second.
Pretty zippy. It's had a couple of close calls before. He's able to get back.
You watch here, he really takes off. He takes his first run, really puts his head down.
He knew straight away.
Yeah.
He didn't even pause. That was the key to it as well. If he had, I think, even for half a second reconsidered that, he was gone. Maybe
a slight blind turn. We'll turn a blind eye to that, though, as he faces up this next delivery. And he defends back down the wicket. He wants a quick single, and he gets it again. Another good run taken by Argennair. And sure, not that many people know about Argennair, but what I've been impressed with tonight is, as well as his bowling, has been his running between the wickets, particularly his last two deliveries. Shows that what a complete cricketer he is, not only with ball, not only with bat, but being able to run quickly between the wickets and pick up those quick singles.
We heard Nick Cummins before from the Sydney Thunder speak about the talent that he possesses, and I wouldn't say too glowing, but he was, did praise the fact that he's quite a good up-and-coming cricketer, and he said as well that he's able to open the batting, which is an option that the Sydney Thunder have, that they can use him as an off-spinner and an opening bowler.
It's a full toss, just defended back down to mid-on for a single, and with the men out in the deep, the Sydney Thunder can take it pretty casually now with picking up the singles. Just 3 overs remaining. Perhaps the Sydney Thunder won't need that long. They're 4 for 112 with just 11 required, so 11 needed off 18 balls. They could do it in a canter, but they also could do it in a struggle. We know cricket is a funny game. A couple of wickets from Bangladesh could certainly turn the tide. But the Bangladesh fans aren't going anywhere, Ryan. They're sticking around to see their faithful cricket stars, and no doubt will probably be trying to grab a few autographs after the game.
Definitely. Going back to what I was saying about Nairn, a couple of other sides have done that before, played an all-rounder as an opener. I know that Ashton Agar opened a couple of times for the Scorchers in previous Big Bash Leagues, so I mean, to an extent, it's an option that Thunder certainly have up their sleeve, as we actually see a couple of Bangladesh fans leave a bit early. They're obviously a little bit disappointed. It's a Friday night. It's 10 o'clock. It's starting to get a little bit later here. Should be out partying on a Friday night.
And it sometimes can be a bit of a battle with public transport, so I think they're just trying to beat the crowd. They'd be very upset if it ended up going to a super over, though, wouldn't they? or if Bangladesh pulled off a thrilling victory. Anything can happen. Still 11 to win.
Well, it's one of those things with sport, especially, I mean, cricket's one, but to an extent, games like soccer or football, you could be sitting there all game, it's 0-0, and then all of a sudden, a miracle goal gets pulled off, and I mean, we could have a couple of really good deliveries here, and things could change dramatically.
Well, Tanvir's been the best of the spinners tonight, and he comes back on to bowl. And this is lofted down the ground. It's high in the air. There's a man out there. He's underneath it. He drops it, I think, over the boundary for 6.
It may have just pulled up. He ran under it for a second, tried to get back. He stuck his hands out, but the way...
And the umpire has actually
signaled six.
So it's just come off the fingertips and maybe not gone over the rope on the full, but hit the rope on the full. It looks like he's just lofted that down the green. He got underneath it, the fielder out there, and has dropped the ball over the boundary. So 6 very valuable runs to the Sydney Thunder, and they're within touching distance this over now. And he's back and cutting this time, and a bit of a deflection from the diving effort of the fielder out in cover, and they pick up a single, and then go to 4 to win.
Well, I'll tell you what, if that diving effort hadn't have pulled off, that could have very well gone to the boundary as well. Struck there.
He's not mucking around now, Morgan. 32.
End it with a 6. Come on, Arjun. That's what I want to see. Let's go out on a high. It's been a fantastic game, but it'd be magnificent to see a 6 here to finish it. Or a double hat-trick and then suddenly...
That would be very, very exciting. I'm sure Arjun now will probably be focusing on getting a nod out, but we'll see what happens. 4 to win.
It's all about the red ink.
Could he hit a boundary to finish? Tanvir in. It's lofted. It's a reverse sweep. Attempted reverse sweep. And doesn't get anything on it. So a dot ball.
bit of a smile there too. He thought he'd got away with it. He just managed to get underneath that ball, and he looked like he was maybe going to be celebrating with a boundary.
Well, there's no third man. There's only the man at point. So if he gets it past there, it's going to be 4.
Don't bowl short.
And this one, he does a reverse sweep. Gets past the keeper, actually. That's rolling down the hill. It won't go for 4. They'll come back and collect 2. So he didn't get it 1 ball. He tried it again, which sometimes can be your Achilles heel. He gets it away and gets a couple. And 2 away from victory here, the Sydney Thunder.
He bowled an almost identical delivery there as well, Tanvir. Not happy with what the wicketkeeper did. I didn't check if that was signalled bias just then by the umpire, but wasn't happy with his wicketkeeper. He kind of threw his hand and said, "What was that?" He said, "Well, I knew it was coming, so I was getting in the way of if he did manage to connect with it," and clearly it didn't turn off for either the batsman or the bowler.
Big appeal for LBW. They'll scamper through for a single. That previous ball has gone down as 2 byes, and this is going to go down as runs. So off the bat first, so Arjun moves along to 17. So just a solitary run needed for the Sydney Thunder to close out this game. It's been a very impressive performance both with bat and ball by the Sydney Thunder today.
It has, and it's hard to pick a man of the match for either side, really. I mean, there's been a couple of good performances, but no one's really stood out.
And this is knocked down the ground by Owen Morgan, and that ends the match here at Spotless Stadium. So Morgan will finish with 33 unbeaten, Nair 17 unbeaten. The Sydney Thunder finishing at 4 for 123. So they win comfortably by 6 wickets. So handshakes and congratulations all around. The mainstay of the innings by the Sydney Thunder was the captain, Owen Morgan, with 33. He's backed up well by Ryan Gibson, the opener, who finished with 21, and Jay Lenton with 25. No real standouts with the ball for Bangladesh. They struggled to get wickets early, and if we're being quite honest, Ryan, they just didn't get enough runs. They lost wickets in clumps early on. Did well to get to 122. As it looks like
we're going to have the overs bowled out here for Bangladesh, because they do have the tour of New Zealand coming up afterwards. So it looks like we're going to have those remaining deliveries bowled. So we'll be covering this right up until that is finished. The Thunder have, of course, won. They're well past, but it's a chance for Nair now to maybe really attack. He's got nothing to lose. The Thunder have won. Have a crack. Morgan might unleash as well. And Morgan will, in fact, be on strike for these next couple of deliveries. And it's a chance as well for Bangladesh to really put in a bit of effort and see if they can claim a couple of wickets and get the crowd that is remaining to really get behind them. Yeah, well, it's going to be good for both these sides. Obviously, the Thunder want to have the batting practice as well, coming up with their clash against the Sydney Sixers. So important for both these two men, and possibly the next man in as well. I think Chris Green will probably be slated to bat soon if he was to get an opportunity. But yeah, I think Bangladesh obviously want to be able to get as many overs out of the bowlers as they can, and there's only 2 overs remaining, so we'll see if this is an excitement-filled final 12 deliveries here at Spotless Stadium, as it's Hussain returning. And this Morgan
one
went for it too.
Big appeal has been given.
LBW.
So Morgan out. LBW probably wished that he hadn't continued on. He departs. Hussain gets the breakthrough. So they lose their 5th wicket. The Sydney Thunder. A nice full delivery there by Hussain. Moving into the right-handed Morgan. Went for a big drive, but thuds into the pad, and they get the breakthrough. So Bangladesh opting to stay on for the extra 2 overs.
Skipper gone for 33.
Have done very, very well by picking up a wicket the first ball after.
Yeah, well, he kind of looked down almost straight away and thought for a second, I've been trapped here, and knew almost instantly. You're right, though, Chris Green is coming in. This kid can hit it big. We saw him last year in the Big Bash League go quite well, establish himself in the Thunder lineup and bowl some very tidy overs of spin. And, I mean, if he can get a hold of it, it can get quite exciting here. Could be some fireworks to finish off.
And highly touted as a future leader, whether that be with the Sydney Thunder or the New South Wales Blues cricket team. Has already captained the Thunder Academy. I know you told me off air in the Tri-Series against the Lahore side, as well as the Sydney Sixers Academy side. So obviously highly touted, and as a player, you can't do much better. Capable with both bat and ball, and he would love to eke out a few runs here, as would Arjun. So the 2 youngsters out in the middle, 5 for 123. If you've just joined us, the Sydney Thunder actually have won this game. They've just decided to continue on, giving both sides a little bit more match practice. Of course, with Bangladesh going over to New Zealand to play a 3-match one-day series coming up, and the Sydney Thunder, of course, starting the 6th instalment of the Big Bash League next week. He goes Hussein, and Green is driving out to cover, and that's well run, and he gets off the mark straight away.
Good bit of fielding there as well in cover, turning around straight away, ready for the throw. Look, Bangladesh fans have stuck around even though the game is lost. They're just kind of waiting for these last 2 overs to be bowled. Fair few hanging in the walking area as you're on your way out, just kind of waiting for these last deliveries. They've been vocal the entire game. They've been fantastic here at Spotless Stadium. At least 5,000 to 6,000 people have made their way to Spotless Stadium tonight, and it's a fantastic effort for a game that serves as a warm-up for both sides to bigger and better tournaments coming up.
This is driven by Nair out to cover. There's a shy at the stumps and well backed up, so Nair adds another one to his total.
Yep, Nair just moving closer to 20.